Welcome to More on That, a podcast by More Media Group. I'm your host, Emily Moore, founder of More Media Group, joined by our COO and my co-host, Will Caves.
On this podcast, we'll explore work, life, and the places they intertwine. In each episode, we're going to talk to a different guest who is chasing their dreams or just making cool things happen.
This episode, we sat down with Brittany Bell. Brittany's an award-winning meteorologist at ABC 7 News in New York, but she also gets to fill in for Good Morning America and World News Tonight. Brittany and I met when we were both at WAPT News here in Jackson, and it's just cool to hear how her career has skyrocketed and hear how she's really achieved the dream that she had whenever we met when she was here. So here's More on That with Brittany Bell.
More on That is sponsored by Community Bank. These guys offer it all, from personal and business banking to financing and wealth management. They've got over 120 years of experience, and their home base is right here in Central Mississippi.
Yeah, we can't say enough good things about the team at Community Bank. We recently moved More Media's banking over to them, and everything has been so smooth. Every single person we've talked to has been helpful, kind, and easy to communicate with. I'm so thankful to have a bank I can reach out to and get personalized support from the same day.
They've got a ton of awesome services like their secure digital banking, and if you're dreaming of finally launching that business, there's a variety of business accounts you can choose from. Their experts will help you choose the right plan for you.
We love Community Bank, and we think you guys will too. Visit communitybank.net to learn more. That's communitybank.net, member FDIC. Brittany, we haven't got to see each other in such a long time. It's been a while. We were just talking about you come home about once a year, I guess, to Jackson. Have you been back? You know, we were together at WAPT for listeners. Have you been back to the station whenever you come to town, or do you see anybody from then?
Yeah, so I believe, was it last year? You will laugh at this as an Ole Miss fan. So it was the year we got beat badly by Toledo that year. That was the year I came and I went to the station, and Scott showed me around, and he was just having a great time that we were so awful at football.
Just gloating. So for listeners, Brittany Bell was at WAPT. When I was at WAPT, that's when we met and became friends, and it's been a while. I wanted to talk about your weather-themed wedding, which was here before you left Jackson. So for listeners, Brittany's husband, Taran, was also a meteorologist in Jackson. And y'all had the whole wedding was like weather themed.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun because I remember, I believe Ginger Z started at GMA maybe a year or two before we got married. And she had these really cool shoes that had, was it lightning strikes or raindrops on them? And that's how I got the idea. So I got similar shoes with lightning strikes on the back. And I know some of our music was weather themed, and our drink menu.
The drinks were weather themed.
That's super cool.
There was like a Cat 5 or something. It was fun.
That's awesome. Well, that's it's kind of cool. So did you, when you grew up, did you want to be a meteorologist, or like, how did that work? I mean, did it come full circle at your wedding when you're like, oh, I finally get to, this is the wedding I've always wanted to be. It's all led up to this, or how did that work?
The weather bug hit me ever since I was a little kid. It's interesting because my evolution, it started out as a fear of the weather. So I was terrified. I grew up, and as a little kid, I was in Nashville. So I lived there until second or third grade. And, you would get storms and it would terrify me. And so what I would do as an anxious little kid, I would watch the Weather Channel to try and figure out, okay, what day is it going to storm this week? So I know how to mentally be prepared. I know that's kind of sad. So I would watch the Weather Channel to figure out, okay, when is it going to storm? Or I would watch when there was a storm to try to track it as a kid, or just try to figure out, okay, when are things going to get better? And it was interesting, through me watching the Weather Channel out of a fear of the weather, that fear kind of morphed into a passion. And it was also the perfect storm, so to speak, because around that same time, Twister was a big movie. And I thought, oh, this is awesome. I'm not scared of storms. I want to chase storms.
Yeah. And do you feel like it kind of, almost made it less scary to know that there were people who could at least kind of predict where it was going to go? Like, do you feel like it was that knowing that helped kind of calm the anxiety? Or do you think it was just the distraction of like, oh, this is so interesting?
No, you hit it earlier. It was the knowing. In a sense, it's still to this day as an adult, I like to control things. And I feel like the more I know, the more I have control or less fear over it. So as a kid, me knowing, oh, this storm is moving at 5 miles per hour, and whatever. I'm not sure if even as a kid that really completely computed, but just having a sense of, okay, I'm tracking this storm. I'm looking at it instead of sitting here as a sitting duck. Just kind of a change of the thought process or the perspective that helped me to get over that fear of the weather.
That's awesome.
You know, you went to Mississippi State. Obviously, meteorology is a huge thing for them. Is that why you picked State, or were you already going there and then just decided to kind of keep following that passion?
That's exactly why, because they had a meteorology program. It's interesting. I tell the story. I was very close to going to Penn State. I got accepted, had a decent amount of scholarships. And I had a visit planned, I think maybe 2 weeks after my initial visit to State. And I visited Mississippi State, immediately fell in love with the campus, and canceled my visit to Penn State because I thought, okay, I'm going here. This is my place. And also it was just full circle too, because my family, like I mentioned earlier, before we started recording, my family, they're from the Mississippi Delta. So my cousins, it's like half of us went to Mississippi State and the other half of us went to Jackson State. So on top of that, it was just a no-brainer. Me just feeling comfortable on the campus. They had a great program. It was only 3 hours from Memphis. We were living in Memphis at the time. So it literally just all fell into place the way it was supposed to.
I did see a statistic the other day. I think it's like 1 in 3 of every meteorologist that's on TV in the US right now graduated from Mississippi State, which is wild to think about that's such that the Bulldogs would have such a presence nationwide. That's super cool.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that attracted me to the program too. And I believe around that same time, Mississippi State, it was gaining more notoriety when it comes to meteorology schools, because around that time when I was looking, the big schools were, and they're still the big schools, it was Penn State, University of Oklahoma. Those were kind of the main schools that you would look at. And Mississippi State wasn't as mentioned, but just being in the South and being around my cousins and doing my own research, just Googling and looking up different statistics.
And then you also, when you were there, you did a program where you were getting to like do some storm chasing, it sounded like.
Yeah, it was a week that we went storm chasing in Tornado Alley. It was, I think about six of us that went. It was 2 of our professors. It was Rennie at the time and Dr. Brown. I believe Dr. Brown is still there. And it was great. But the week we went, there was a ridge of high pressure, meaning the weather was quiet. So we spent most of the storm chasing week just eating at different places and getting to know. It was sunny, not a cloud in the sky.
That's funny.
It wasn't until the end that literally, I think the last day or the day before the last day that things got active. And the last day, kind of going back to it's a weird position to be in because you want to see the tornado, but you don't want it to hit anybody. But the last day, that was the day or the day before the day of the Joplin tornado. So we actually came into Joplin. It's like right after the tornado hit. And I remember just seeing it was a line of 18-wheelers flipped over after the tornado. So, and that goes kind of back to the balance of you want to see it in nature, but you also don't want a tornado to hurt someone. But it was a really good experience just to see the power of what a tornado can do up close. And you learn seeing a storm form in front of your face. It's one thing to learn about it in a book, but it's another thing to actually see it forming, seeing a wall cloud and seeing just the makeup of a storm forming in front of you. It just gives you a totally different perspective and also a respect, like a healthy respect. This is dangerous. This is what it does to people, real people, their lives, their homes that they've built, homes that they've been in since they've been born. It just really gives you a different perspective when you see it forming and just see the damage after a tornado hits.
Yeah. Was that your first time getting to go storm chasing? Was on that trip, I'm guessing?
So we were in state. This makes it sound a little crazy, but the meteorologists, we would just storm chase randomly.
That's a hobby.
It was.
Mhm.
I don't know if you met Patrick, one of my friends. He actually works in Memphis now. He's a meteorologist in Memphis, but he was one of my main friends that I went storm chasing with in his Jeep. He was the driver, and I was the one who would look at radar to try to say, okay, let's go chase this storm, or let's go this way, let's take this road. So it was a hobby. So that wasn't the first time I went storm chasing, but we would do it. Especially in the severe weather season in the spring, we would just storm chase.
So after you said you were in Arkansas and you came to WAPT, now a lot of our listeners are familiar with the Jackson area and probably familiar with WAPT and stuff. Tell us about your time there and like any sort of favorite memory.
I would say one thing that's interesting, I got so much severe weather experience working in Jackson, Mississippi. Also working with David Hartman, who's still there and is just a brilliant meteorologist. I learned so much working under him. And kind of going back to storm chasing, usually when you hear of storm chasing or tornadoes, people automatically think of, Kansas or Oklahoma or Texas or whatever. But Mississippi has a lot of tornadoes, and we have tornadoes year round. I know they call it Dixie Alley now in Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee because they have tornadoes, and some research has shown that the tornadoes in the Southeast are even stronger and deadlier compared to some of the tornadoes in the Central Plains. And there's, a lot that goes into that, but I got a lot of experience, severe weather experience. And that was really one of my main memories working there. One of my core memories was we had a sports show. And Emily, I'm not sure if you remember the name of it, but we had a sports show on Friday night.
Blitz 16?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a day that we had rain and the threat for severe weather was low. But I was watching the storm and I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the radar and I'm saying, this thing is rotating, but there wasn't a warning yet from the National Weather Service. And I was second guessing myself because this is my second job. I'm still pretty green and new to the business, but I trusted my gut and I said, hey, producer, I need to do a quick cut in. The storm is rotating. And lo and behold, about 20 minutes after I did the cut in, the National Weather Service warned that warning, solidifying that, okay, yes, this is a potentially tornadic storm. And I believe it did touch down. So that was memorable for me. No, it wasn't a historic tornado outbreak, but it was memorable because it helped to build my confidence that, okay, I know this. And I had to battle imposter syndrome. I still do to this day. And that helped to build my confidence.
Then you left us from here and you went to Raleigh. And that to me feels like where things really started taking off on a bigger level for you. So kind of just walk us through how you got there, but then what happened when you were in Raleigh to springboard you to where you are now.
So when I was coming to the end of my contract at WAPT, and I always had dreams of moving up in the ranks and going to a different market and whatnot. At that time, my dream market was Nashville, or I thought, it'd be great if one day I could end up in Houston or Atlanta. So I was looking around. I was emailing different news directors and applying, and I also put my resume reel on Talent Dynamics. And that's how the news director at the time found me, and she reached out to me. And it's interesting because I never really thought of the Carolinas. I've heard good things, but I never really thought of actually working there. But I'm glad that the news director reached out because I visited, and it was almost similar to how I felt when I visited Mississippi State. We went to Raleigh and immediately fell in love with the city. We went to Durham too. It's, Raleigh, Durham, and Fayetteville. And I love the city. My coworkers who were Don and Chris, he retired, and Steve showed me around, and they were fantastic. It felt like hanging out with brothers, my older brothers, because they were just so easy to talk to and so relaxed. And it just felt like home.
Yeah. And while you were there, that's when you first filled in on Good Morning America or World News Tonight. What came first?
I believe it was Good Morning America. And I believe one of the reasons why that came into place, so the station It's a part of the ABC owned and operated group. So they, had a connection with Good Morning America and whatnot. But going back to everything falling into place, our morning meteorologist, Don, he's actually the chief now at WTBD. He knew Ginger Z. And that week she was actually in Raleigh promoting one of her books. And she came by the station and we met, and he spoke very highly of me, which I still appreciate to this day, which is very nice of him. He didn't have to do that. I mean, not that I'm a bad person, but you know what I mean.
You're just grateful. Yeah.
Yes. I thought it was really nice that he spoke so highly of me to Ginger. And we chatted, and she said, "Hey, why don't you just send me your reel one day?" And I sent her my reel and whatnot. And eventually down the line, I forgot how far removed it was from me meeting her, but my news director at Raleigh reached out and said, "Hey, GMA, they need some help filling in on the weekend and filling some slides. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I would definitely be interested. And that's how that happened. I flew up to New York and I filled in one Saturday, and thank God they asked me to do it again. And yeah, that's how the ball really got rolling. And
okay, but you're making it sound so just like chill. Like, were you freaking out? Because I feel like I would be freaking out. Like, walk us through, even that there's so many moments in this that I feel like I want to hear your reaction. Like when you met Ginger, when she asked for your reel, when you walked into that studio, like what was that like?
Oh yeah, I was totally freaking out. Even when I met Ginger in Raleigh, I'm thinking, "Oh my God, this is Ginger Z."
Yeah, it's Ginger Z. Like you watch her all, like that was the dream. Like that's so cool to me.
Yeah, it was, and at the time, and I still consider myself awkward. I'm thinking, okay, don't be weird, just act cool.
Play it cool.
Just be cool. But I mean, even Ginger, she's so easy to talk to. What you see on TV is what you get with Ginger. So she made the nerves go away. So yeah, I was freaking out then. Even when my news director called me and asked and said, "Oh, GMA wants you," I thought, "Is this a joke? Or this is not? I'm not getting punked, right?" Like,
yeah. Good Morning America wants you to come do the weather.
That's cool.
Like, not come watch, not come shadow. Like, come do the weather for Good Morning America.
Yeah, so that was still surreal. And with me, I'm so anxiety prone, and I don't like to jinx things. It got to the point where I didn't really even tell my friends or most of my coworkers because I just didn't want. I almost felt like, okay, if I tell people, it's going to go away. So let me just keep the circle small. And I was excited.
Probably also were like, maybe they won't watch, and if I mess up, then maybe no one will know I was ever on. You're like, but if it goes well, I'll just share it after.
That was my thought process. So it was a battle between me being excited, but also me thinking, okay, I don't want this to slip away. I don't want to screw this up by telling too many people or just something we might change their mind. And also there was an imposter syndrome, thinking, okay, maybe they're just really desperate. I don't know why they chose me, or what if they find someone better, or whatnot. And fast forward to me flying up to New York. It was the day before I went to the ABC studio and I got a tour because, I like to be prepared, and that helps with my anxiety and worry. So I set up a meeting with some different managers and producers, and that helped me to get a better feel, just to see the studio and walk around. And I think that made a big difference, not seeing everything for the first time when I actually filled in, but actually to walk around and see and just get familiar with the environment. And that just made it feel like another studio, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, it is just another studio. I mean, yes, it's Good Morning, but it's still another studio.
Still just a camera that you're talking to, just a weather map that you're referring to. It's just, I always wondered, because even the first time I saw you on Good Morning America, I think I was screaming in my living room, like, I know her, like I worked with her, like she did it. Does it get any more comfortable, or does it still feel surreal? I mean, because to me, like, that's the dream. Like little Brittany that was a kid wanting to be a meteorologist, I'm sure didn't just want to be like at a small local station, like wanted to kind of see how far she could take this thing. And now like you're doing it, you know? I mean, do you get used to that?
Yes and no. It's interesting. The more I do it, the more I get used to it. But there's always still that sense of pinch me. Like I can't believe I'm still here. You just kind of, even before a weather hit comes up, I just sit and I look around and think, wow, I never could imagine this. It's interesting, coming up in meteorology, people would say, oh, do you want to be the next Al Roker or whatnot, or work for the Weather Channel? And I would think, I mean, yeah, that would be great, but I don't think I would be good enough. Honestly, that I never even allowed myself to dream that I could work at a Good Morning America or the Today Show, because I just never thought that could happen for me. So just coming from that mindset, I just have a immense sense of gratitude every time I get a chance to. So yes, in a sense, I do get used to it where the nerves aren't, well, there's still a sense of some nerve, or I'm trying to think how to say it. You still get a little nerves, but it's a good level of nerves to prepare you to do a good job and whatnot. But there's always that sense of just great gratitude that
do you feel like your confidence has grown since you've done it? Like, because to me, you've always been amazing. Like when you were here, I was always impressed with everything that you did. But like, just that imposter syndrome, so many people can relate to that. And I wonder, like, the more you do it, does that go away or do you still feel it?
Oh, that's a really great question. I would say there is like a balance. The more I do it, the confidence, it grows. I would say now I'm at a 70% confident, 30% imposter syndrome.
That's a good ratio.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I can't imagine like working at WAPT or working in Mississippi in general, you've got to be better prepared than pretty much anybody, because you've had to say words like Kosciuszko, Gaucher, like Oktibbeha, like all these really hard to pronounce Mississippi names that, we, for whatever reason, that's what we landed on. I can imagine that when you're on Good Morning America and that map is suddenly nationwide versus just your New York or your Raleigh or whatever. It's, I can say that. That's no big deal. Yeah. I can say Kosciuszko. I can say this. Yeah.
So now, then you jumped from Raleigh to New York. You were at a station in New York full time. Mm-hmm. So how did that jump happen, and what was that like for you?
It was, I assume it was connected to me filling in for GMA, because my station in New York is still under the ABC umbrella. So I just assumed that some of the managers at the local station saw my stuff, because I did get a chance when I was still in Raleigh. I got a chance to fill in for WABC in New York while I was in Raleigh a couple of times. So kind of like GMA where I filled in. So I filled in for the local ABC station, and the managers reached out and said, hey, we would love for you to work here, which was still surreal to me because I never thought this little girl from Nashville, Tennessee would end up in New York City. And I'm thinking, okay, you guys sure? I was in Raleigh, I believe, for about 4 years. And it was interesting because around that same time, we were comfortable. We loved Raleigh. We bought a house, and we thought that our plan was to be in Raleigh. I don't know if I would say forever, but to settle down and just maybe have kids and whatnot. But that opportunity came up, and I initially was afraid to take the job because I thought, oh my gosh, this is New York. If I fail, I'm going to fail hard, because the higher you get, the harder you fall. But my husband, Taran, and my agent both they gave me some good advice, just saying, hey, you're young, you don't have kids. I mean, even if I had kids, I still would assume they would, advise me to take the job. But at this point in your life, the risk is low. It's just you and the 2 dogs and your husband. If it doesn't work out, just go somewhere else. It's fine. And I think I was afraid to take the job because I do have this fear of failure. I don't like to fail. I'm a very motivated type A type of person. But I thought, you know what? This is an adventure. Life is short. And my husband brought up a good point. He said, when you're older in your nursing home or in your deathbed, you don't want to be sitting there thinking, man, I wonder what would have happened if I took that job in New York City. And that was a good point. I thought, like, hey, what's the worst that could happen? What, I get fired.
This is your life, right? You gotta try. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Turan, and I love that he said that. I wanted to ask about Turan because he was a meteorologist here in Jackson. Was he doing meteorology in Raleigh as well?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And so what is he doing now first? And then after that, just what has that been like? Because you both obviously had these same career paths, I imagine with similar dreams. And it looked to me from an observer that he just supported you because you were the first one to get the job in Raleigh and he went with you. And then you got the job in New York and he's there with you. And I think that's so cool, like just to see in a marriage. It looks like a team effort, like you guys just working together. So I just want to hear what that's been like.
Yeah, he's that's one of the many things that I love about Turan. He's just been such a supportive partner. And just kind of going from different jobs, especially having two people in TV, sometimes it can be hard to manage. And then especially when you have two people that are both meteorologists, because like we talked about earlier, that pool is a lot smaller. It could be easier if you have a spouse that's a meteorologist and a spouse that's a reporter. So everything just fell into place. And it also was super helpful that it's funny, we talk about imposter syndrome, but he will always tell me, oh, you're the better one out of the relationship when it comes to meteorology. And I'm thinking, no, we're the same. Like I legit think we have the same kind of talent, but he would always say, wherever you go, I'm going to go because I believe in your career and you're super talented. And just having him as a cheerleader has just made such a difference because I can't imagine if I didn't have a supportive partner, that would make things so much harder. But he's been my biggest cheerleader since day one. Even to this day, the days where I'm not confident in myself, he gives me a reality check. And it just really helps to have that balance, especially with someone that still deals with imposter syndrome and just second guessing herself and whatnot. But having him supporting me along the way, and just forcing me to be uncomfortable. I think that's a great thing too, when you have a partner that can challenge you and can tell when you want to get too comfortable or when you don't want to take an opportunity because you're afraid. That has really helped, having him to challenge me to take opportunities that I'm fearful of. And usually it always works out.
Yeah, I love that. I've just, like I said, I've always thought that was cool since you guys were here. Tyler and I mean, we always talk about how our marriage, like we're a team. And it's like, because it's not just your life. Like when you get married, like you're in this together. And so it is hard. Like you do kind of feel like you can't make those decisions on your own. And you don't want to feel like you're dragging someone else along on your dream. But when you have a supportive partner like that, I do feel like it makes such a huge difference. Someone saying like, no, go for it. I'm here with you. Like, let's do this together. And so I've always admired that about y'all. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, and same for you guys too. So it's just, it just makes the world of difference just to have someone that's supporting you and that can challenge you. And, even when that can offer critique, and I trust his criticism, and that's super helpful because you don't want someone that will just always tell you, oh, you're great, you're fine, you don't need to fix anything. You also need a partner that can tell you, hey, this is what you need to fix, or you should probably work on this, or yeah, this criticism that you got was valid. And it's helpful to have someone that can give you an honest opinion, whether it's good or bad, and just tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear.
And it's coming from a place of love. Like, that they're telling you because they care. Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine, especially since y'all have the same degree, you've done the same work. It's coming from a different place. My spouse is a therapist. And so she tells me stuff that I also don't want to hear, but it's like, it's like, hey, you should think, have you considered that it's this, or have you thought about, it might be, you might be feeling, how does this make you feel? And it's, it's just like, I don't want to think about that right now, but yeah, that's super cool to have, and all three of us sounds like have supportive spouses and just really lean into it.
All right. So what's next for you, Brittany? What are we doing next?
I'm happy where I'm at. I'm very happy here in New York. So at this point, it's just trying to, I feel like I'm still getting settled. It's been about 3 or 4 years. So just still getting settled. And now I would say what's next is trying to get more involved in the community, because when I first moved here, it was still, I believe it was 2021. So COVID was still a thing, and we weren't really I wasn't doing as many school talks and doing a lot of community events. And that was one thing that I feel like I missed out on coming here initially compared to working in Jackson and working in Raleigh, being able to go to different events and talk to schools, mainly doing a lot of school talks. That's one of my favorite things to do. So I would say that's next for me, is just to get more involved in the community, doing more school talks, hoping to do more events, and just to get out there. So yeah, I would say that's what's next for us here.
Yeah, is it starting to feel a little more like home? Like, it's hard for me. I came to New York in December, actually, with my mom and my sisters and my daughter for just a really quick trip. But I remember walking around thinking, like, how does this ever feel like home to someone? Like, it just feels like, does it feel like home now?
It does. And I totally understand because growing up in the South and whatnot, I thought, I don't know how I could ever live in New York. And now it does feel like home. It's really interesting. Yes, there's a lot of buildings and there's a lot of people, but each neighborhood feels very homey. We're in the Upper West Side, and I know my mailman. I see him every day around when I'm walking home, and we always chat. He's from Barbados, and I talk to him, and it's almost like Sesame Street, where you see the same couple of people at a certain point, and you go to restaurants and you see the same waitress or you see the same bartender. It becomes your own little neighborhood. I know it doesn't seem like it when you watch TV, but you really do get to have that connection with your neighbors. So yes, it is different. I do definitely miss having a house with a yard. Especially with 2 dogs.
I'm sure the dogs miss that too. I bet they get to go for lots of exciting walks though.
Yes, they do. And that was hilarious when we first moved here with the dogs. Oh my gosh. Just them getting used to, where's the grass? Like, where's the grass? Why is it all concrete? So it was definitely an adjustment for them. But yeah, it really does feel like home. And people, I know sometimes New Yorkers get the reputation of being rude, but that really hasn't been the case. The viewers here have welcomed me with open arms, and it's been great. It really does feel like home for us now. Yeah.
We have one question that we do like to ask every guest. The podcast is called More on That. So we like to ask, what is your more on that? Like, is there something you wanted us to talk about today? Is there something that you love getting asked about? Do you have a more on that to share with us?
Social media and AI. That's a new frontier that we are just trying to figure out in the weather community, because you have new models that incorporate artificial intelligence, and you're also battling some of these AI bots that give a weather.
It's taking over. It feels like every industry is going through exactly what you just said. Like, okay, this is how it's impacting our specific industry. What do we do about it? So I'm interested to hear, like, what are the challenges from a weather perspective? It's models and it's people, I guess, not people. I guess it's AI predicting the weather. Are they doing good? Are they?
It's a combination. It's that and trying to figure out, okay, how can we stay relevant? Because I don't know if I'm being naive and thinking, I don't think that people would want to watch an AI newscast with AI anchors or a meteorologist, but I don't know. It's looking more realistic, but the challenge at this point is trying to stay relevant and also trying to find ways that AI can be helpful. So trying to figure out, okay, what works best and when does this work best, and just trying to not necessarily fight against AI, because I don't think we can win against fighting against it, but trying to see, okay, how can I use this to help me give more of an accurate forecast or communicate XYZ better, or even, communicate 24/7. There are some meteorologists that are working on having an AI bot that will answer questions all day. I'm not sure how I feel about that personally, but it's something that's out. So it's just trying
to. But I think that like trying to figure out, how do I use this as a tool to enhance what I'm doing? So, because you don't want it to replace what you're doing. I mean, we do marketing, like it really could do a lot of the work that we do, but how to use it to enhance what you're doing. And I think to your point, there's a lot of ways that you could use it, but there's things that you can do that AI is never going to be able to do. I thought about the story you told about in Jackson when like the National Weather Service hadn't even predicted something, but your gut said, hey, I think this is something. Like, I think there will always have to be that human element to what you do.
But there's something to be said for experience. I've learned so much from just talking to David Hartman and asking him, hey, what usually happens when XYZ, or even talking to my chief in Raleigh, Chris Homan, different things. He says, hey, usually when the temperature is this and we have fog or whatever, usually we're not going to get above 55 degrees. Little things like that only come from personal experience from people who have worked in a market for 20 or 30 years. I don't think you can get that from AI. So yeah, it's a balance of trying to not necessarily fight against it, but trying to figure out, okay, how can I use this to make my forecast more accurate or better communicate dangers to the public?
That's cool. There are AI podcasts. I'm actually an AI as well. They're AI podcasters. No, that's great. It's something that we've talked a lot about in our agency and just in our workflow. And I think you said something to the effect of like, you're probably not going to win the battle, so you make it work for you. And you said it more eloquently, of course, but just finding a way to use it to make you better at your job is sort of what we struggle with as well. So this episode is sponsored by Fuse.cloud. Fuse.cloud delivers technology solutions to thousands of businesses across the country. We've used them for internet at our office for years, and we couldn't be happier. Their customer service is seriously top-notch.
Yeah, we don't often have issues, but whenever we do, they're always immediately ready to jump in and help. We love these guys so much that we even named our password after one of their team members for a while.
Yeah, Ben is the bomb.
And our clients were always so confused, like, who's Ben?
And while you aren't required to reference their team in your password, you should look into using Fuse.cloud for your business and internet needs.
They also offer other services like voice and managed IT, and they're based right here at home in Jackson, Mississippi.
Check them out online at fuse.cloud. That's FUSE.CLOUD.
We've got a few rapid fire we're going to run through really, really fast. I know we've all got to go, but can we ask you a few rapid fire questions?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Favorite season?
Summer, hands down.
Pet peeve.
Here in the Northeast, I hate winter.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can imagine. Yeah. What's your pet peeve?
Oh, what is my pet peeve? Slow
Sportsing.
walker.
Slow walker. Oh, yeah. I can imagine being in where you are now. That's funny.
I get pedestrian rage. People get road rage when someone's going slow. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, can you walk faster?
I get the same way. And when we were in New York, and it's, we were tourists, so we were in all the touristy places, but I was with my family who they're all slow walkers, and I feel like I kept leaving them, but I was the navigator, so I'd have to turn around and wait. And I'm like, guys, you're embarrassing me. Like, come on. Mm-hmm. All right. I know you and Taran travel a lot, so I put on here, what country do you most want to visit?
I want to go to Brazil. I really want to go to Brazil. That's on I want to go to Brazil.
I do too. Ren, my 6-year-old, has a new friend at school who's from Brazil, and we had a play date this weekend. For like 2 hours, they played at the park, and I talked to his mom, and we just talked all about Brazil. And I told her, I was like, well, now I feel like I have to go. I do. I want to go.
That's right.
Yeah, it looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
What is the most useless thing that you know how to do?
Oh, what is the most worry? I'm so great.
That's right.
There was an Olympics for like worrying, I would be a gold medalist. I would be the GOAT. I'm trying to think what else. I'm kind of ambidextrous. So when I was a little kid, I would write with both hands because I was indecisive. And I thought, okay, well, why should I use one hand when I can use both? That was just a thought process.
Yeah, you mentioned the Olympics. What's your favorite Olympic event?
Track and field. I had to pick a particular track and field event, it would be the 400 meter, the 400 meter. I love the 400 meter because it's a sprint, but it's still a little bit longer. So there's more of a battle.
There's a lot of strategy involved in it too. Yeah.
Yeah. I ran track in high school. So it was my least favorite event to run. Like the 400 meter is awful to run, but I love watching it.
It is a good one. All right. If you could meet one celebrity, who would it be?
Oh, Beyonce. Yeah.
No arguments there.
Yeah.
Well, how can people keep up with you that want to follow you on social media?
Mainly Instagram. It's Brittany Bell WX. That's the main social media. I'm also on Facebook. I believe it's Brittany Bell WABC on Facebook. So those are the main ways. Yeah, but I'm always on Instagram a little too much. My social media time. But yeah, Instagram, that's the best way to keep in touch.
Well, thank you so much, Brittany. We're so thankful that you took time to talk to us today. I know you worked early this morning. I know you have to be tired, and we really appreciate you making time to talk. It was fun to catch up and hear about what you're doing now.
I love that you guys wanted to talk to me. So I always feel like my story is boring or whatever, but I'm honored that you guys invited me, and you
gotta let that imposter syndrome go. I told you when I texted you and invited you, I'm just so proud of you. I think you're out there doing it, and you're so talented, and you're so deserving, and you're so kind and humble and just really good at what you do. So we're all happy for you. Please let me know next time you come to Jackson.
And vice versa. Next time you come to New York, let me know so I can give you a tour of the building and whatnot. And yeah, but I think we're going to be in Jackson in April, so I'll definitely let you know.
Let me know. Awesome. For sure. All right. Thanks, Brittany.
Thank
Have
you so
a good
much.
one. This may be obvious, but More on That is sponsored in part by our company, More Media Group. We're a full-service marketing and public relations agency located in Jackson, Mississippi. We offer help with public relations, advertising, social media, branding, and website design.
Yeah, if it falls under the marketing umbrella, we can help. Our team has worked with clients across several industries, including tourism, healthcare, economic development, higher ed, food and beverage, and more.
If you think we'd be a good fit, check us out at themoremediagroup.com. That's more with 2 O's. Before we go, we want to give one more thank you to our presenting sponsor, Community Bank. Whether you're looking for personal or business banking, Community Bank is the place to go.
They're helpful, responsive, and always updating their services to provide the very best banking options to their customers. Visit communitybank.net to learn more. Member FDIC.